How would you define a hero? Is a hero determined by the feats they accomplish or their admirable attempts of greatness? You might say a hero's feats are what's more important. But while their skills speak volumes concerning the hero's ability, what then does effort speak of? Character. This town has seen a lot of heroes lately. Every month in this town, a new sheriff is elected like clockwork. Is it time to elect a new sheriff?
Sheriff? More like a martyr.
No one's gonna volunteer anymore, especially after that last attack. This wasn't just some petty outlaw looking to steal. This was a professional gunslinger. He's a criminal. He's not looking for supplies. He's looking for a fight.
Now, everyone. Please, settle down. We need to discuss this. Has anyone considered the possibility that we might have to pack up and leave our beloved town?
And go where? This is the safest place for miles around. All of our guns are either maimed or dead. The hospital's gonna run out of supplies soon, and we haven't had a caravan come by in months.
Everyone is sick or hurt. We have no more able-bodied men.
But what about the baker?
Every society has a scapegoat. This town is no exception. Everything from illness, shortage of crops, even poor weather has been blamed on the baker. The baker lived a simple life. Even though he was called the baker, he loved to make all kinds of foods. He knew he wasn't loved by many, if at all, so he lived on his own. For the baker didn't like conflict or argument. He felt such distractions were unnecessary. As long as they left him alone, he was comfortable.
Bobby?
Bobby? The baker hadn't heard anyone use his name in years. There was a woman. Bob knew she was one of the few who treated him with kind words. She knew what she had to ask was unfair. Nevertheless, she informed Bob of the situation. The woman knew she had crossed the line, and she felt ashamed for herself. She had no right to ask this of Bob, and so she sat outside and wept. The baker heard her crying and was touched. This woman, whose name he didn't even know, really care about him that much? The baker then realized something. She would die as well. True, all the cruel townsfolk would die, but she would share their fate. The baker was no fool. He knew he was no fighter and he didn't stand a chance, but perhaps if he fought, maybe he could at least wound some of them. Perhaps they would be too weak to return. Perhaps the lady with blue eyes would survive. Bobby the baker would do everything he could to protect those who had treated him with kindness and respect. After all, wouldn't anyone?
Is this a joke? This town sends out their greatest warrior, who makes a living off bread and cakes. You are no fighter. The men that came before you were strong and loved by all. No one will miss you when you die. No one will weep for you when your body is stripped and defiled. And no one will survive after you're dead.
And in that moment, the baker considered his options. He could run, flee, or hide, but instead, Bob stood his ground, raised his gun, and simply asked,
You sure about that?